feels good to clap. Ooh. You got to turn yours on, I think. Oh.
There's a light.
You're on. You're on. Yep.
Well, I'm Brad, and this is
Rebecca. Janet. Rebecca.
Janet.
It was a little Rocky Horror. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. I think I'm not on, but I think maybe this light is not on. Hang on. There you go. Now I'm on. Now I think I'm on. Nope, still not on. You know, I am kind of loud in general. Oh, that one. Oh, the blue light. Blue and white. Oh, there. See. Yay, thank you, Emily. Girl, you are on.
Brad is ready.
So I'm Brad, and this is Rebecca, and welcome to CBH for our Midsummer Night Shabbat. Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo!
Huzzah! It's huzzah, actually.
Huzzah!
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 So tonight we're going to sprinkle the words of Shakespeare through our evening. This week's parsha is a double dose. It is Matot, tribes, and Maseh, journeys. We're going to focus tonight on Maseh, journeys. Matot, the first part is more of the killy kind of parsha in our Torah, so we're going to let you check that on your own. But Parshat Maseh chronicles the 42 journeys and encampments taken by the people of Israel during their time in the desert. A trying 40-ish, some say 38, some say 40 years of wandering. So the question we're going to ponder tonight, after so much wandering, trials, tribulations, effort, how do the people of Israel ramp up their grit and determination again to embark on their new journey of turning the territory of Canaan into the land flowing with milk and honey? And here's the question that we're posing. What role does Shabbat play in inspiring this? We learn that Shabbat, the day of rest, is a mitzvah, a commandment, a must-do. And so we wonder, do we serve Shabbat, or does Shabbat serve us? As we make our way, as we make our way through tonight's 42 prayers, it's not really 42, don't count, we're going to ask you to pick out certain words. So we're going to ask you to, in a sense, look at our prayers through new eyes and see what words jump out at you as we answer these questions about do we serve Shabbat? Does Shabbat serve us? How do we ramp up to, after having done something incredibly difficult, to do something new that's incredibly difficult? So and we'll check in with you after each of our prayers and just check in and see which words struck you as being meaningful or impactful. And so with that said, let us begin.
Let us begin. So we're in the same sanctuary, but you might have noticed a little bit of a difference. Take a look around. What do you notice? paint, it's brighter. That is a particularly lovely bold blue. And so while we are in the same sanctuary, it is new to us, and it has been at least a year or more before it's been painted. So I thought we would say a Shehechianu because this is the first service in our new, and we're probably going to do this several times because this is going to get painted, and we'll have lots of moments, but there's never a bad time to have a little bit of gratitude and appreciation for being alive, to meet the moment. So if you will join me in a Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
For the new paint.
Yeah. And just a quick hello to those of you who are on Zoom. We can't see you, but we know you are here. Shabbat Shalom. So we want to start off with some stretching. It took a lot to get you here. You may have decided you were coming and at the last minute said to yourself, I don't know, do I really want to come? And yes, I'm going to get myself out the door. So no small feat to be here, all the things that happened this week. So just take a moment or two here, and you can stretch and move your body in the ways that it really needs right now. Bring yourself into presence. And that can include some nice breathing. Roll your shoulders or your neck. We are always arriving.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And I'd love to invite Amy and Chana, if you would be willing to come up and light our candles for us.
No pressure.
Shabbat candles. Thank you.
Yeah.
And as they're lighting, we'll posit our very first Shakespeare quote from The Merchant of Venice. How far that little candle throws its beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world. We'll bring in the shininess, the good deeds into our bodies. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Yasher koach.
Yasher koach. Thank you.
And if you're able to see the candles, or if you want to take a look at something else that feels really beautiful to you right now, just kind of tune back into our breath. Just notice the body, how it expands and returns, expands, returns. And all of this is happening all of the time. What a gift. And maybe there's one little part of your body that you're extra grateful for right now. Maybe it's like kind of announcing itself, like me, choose me. Just notice it or pick one. A little extra attention right now. And you'll join me on page 12. From Hamlet, a ministering angel shall my sister be. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet. Page 13. Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malachi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malachi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malachi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Setchem leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malachi Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Just ask you, as Brad suggested earlier, to take a look at this prayer. Just lift up in the room just one of the words that speaks to you, either in Hebrew or in English.
That speaks to you, either in Hebrew or
Shalom Aleichem,
Boachem.
Boachem.
Let's come together.
Say again. Act with kindness. Kadosh, holy, Kadosh. Beautiful.
So on page 31 will be one of our first psalms, Or Zarua, which means seeds of light. And I think we have a Shakespearean kavanah for this.
We do. I'm like really aware as we're doing this to remind us that Shabbat itself is a journey. We're talking about journeys in the Parsha this week, and Shabbat is a journey. And so just to notice wherever you are in the journey right now as we move along. So it's Shakespearean quote from Hamlet. The actual meaning of this is light is sown for the righteous and gladness for the upright of heart. So Hamlet says, to be or not to be, that is the question.
Bum biddy dum
Bum biddy bum 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 bum diddy 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 bum b Shele Simcha Or Zaru Ala Tzadik Uli Shele Simcha
What might have jumped out at you in Or Zarua? Bum diddy bum holds it all together.
What else? The radiance. The guardian of loving souls. Happiness for those steadfast of heart. To be or not to be? That is the question. Beautiful.
On page 33 is Yiram Hayam. It is our new song. We sing out to the infinite a new song to one who has created wonders of the world. And some of those wonders are the words that we're picking out tonight and the power that the words have. Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Tevel veyosveva. Yiramayamu melo. Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Tevel veyosveva. Yiramayamu melo. Neharodim chauchaf lai 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 lai. Yachalarim yeranenu lai 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 lai. Neharodim chauchaf lai 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 lai. Yachalarim yeranenu. Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Tevel veyosveva. Yiramayamu melo. Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Yiramayamu melo.
Tevel veyosveva. Yiramayamu melo.
I love when I hear singing and humming continuing because actually the sounds are always here. The music is always here. We just tap into it. So when it's present in all of these different ways, what a gift. Speaking of gifts, you will see that on page 33, you were able to read that transliteration, and we're moving to page 39, where you can also read transliteration, and I want to give some thanks to our staff this week who helped me put in the transliteration so that we can read them. So thanks to Kara and to Emily, who sat and taped all day today.
New paint and new words.
New paint and new words. That's right. So this is so 39. Ana Bakoach is a mystical prayer that was taken out. It's part of Shabbat service, but it was taken out of the Reconstructionist service because it's a mystical prayer. And when Reconstructionism really started, it wasn't concerned with the mystical. But this community actually sings it. Nagibor is a song that we sing, and that is Ana Bakoach. So we're putting it here, and we're putting it here specifically tonight because this mystical prayer, they say that it is a spiritual code of creation itself. And we know that after the culmination of creation on the seventh day, there was Shabbat, rest, and this mitzvah to honor Shabbat. It's also connected to this parsha because this parsha talks about 42 journeys, that 42 encampments that the Israelites made on their way to the promised land. This mystical prayer concerns itself with 42 letters that form the mystical name of the divine. So this prayer itself is connected. And if none of that makes any sense to you, that's okay. You can just kind of let it wash on and kind of go, oh, that's interesting that these things are woven together. I kind of do that. Every time I get to this prayer, it's kind of mysteriously baffling to me, but I'm drawn to it. So I'll introduce a new melody to you. I'm going to sing it and have you respond. And the invitation here is to allow Shabbat to open itself and to allow the words of this are, help me untie the ties that are binding me. So as we move into this part of Shabbat, what do you want to let go of? What still needs some letting go of so that you can continue to open fully to Shabbat? Ana bekoach, bekoach.
Anna bekoach, bekoach.
Gedulat yemincha, yemincha.
Gedulat yemincha, yemincha.
Tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha.
Tatir tzerua kabel rinatamcha.
Sagvenu tarenu nora. Sagvenu tarenu nora. Let's try that again. Ana bekoach, bekoach. Ana bekoach, bekoach. Gedulat yemincha, yemincha. Gedulat yemincha, yemincha. Tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha. Tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha. Sagvenu tarenu nora. Sagvenu tarenu nora. That's it. Let's put it all together. Ana bekoach, bekoach. Gedulat yemincha, yemincha. Tatir tzerura kabel rinatamcha. Sagvenu tarenu nora. Ana bekoach, bekoach. Gedulat yemincha, yemincha. Tatir tzerura kabel rinat olam. Sagvenu tarenu nora. Sagvenu. Sagvenu tarenu nora. And I'll just say, for those of us who stumble over these words, they're not the easiest words, but a reminder that all the letters go together anyway, and they make themselves up, and whoever and whatever is needing to hear them, however they come out perfectly and imperfect, they are just that. So you should feel empowered to sing to your heart's content, as imperfect as it is and perfect as it is.
Tatir tzerura. That's mine.
That's your word.
I don't even know what it means for sure, but I like the way it feels.
The sounds. Mm-hmm.
Tatir tzerura.
Yamincha. With loving kindness, yamincha. That's how we untie our tangles. Chesed? No? Beautiful. Adding to the book. You love it. Yes. So it's time for a welcoming of our Shabbat, the Sabbath Queen, and it's time for another Shakespearean quote. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it, sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night. It's true. That is true.
Thank you. Oh, that wasn't.
Wasn't about you specifically,
No.
although inclusively, yes.
Never mind. On page 41 is Lecha Dodi. Come, my friend. Let's greet the Shabbat bride. Let's grab its hand, embrace it. The promise of a day of peace is a good one. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamo v'zachor, בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Top of page 43. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Top of 45. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Page 47.
ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי. אל איש בין פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Embody our spirit.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוני סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, Pene Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated.
It's all good to stand. Nice. And to sit. Oh, to sing, yes. And all of it. It all feels good. That's fantastic.
Any L'chadudi words pop out?
I always like the one about hitorari, arouse yourself, arouse yourself.
Is it also the same word to wake up, wake up?
Yeah. Well, yes.
This is me arguing with the text, but when I lead L'chadudi in DC, we do re'a al re'a, like the lover to the lover. We don't do the heteronormative.
Re'a to re'a. Nice. We don't, that's a, re'a to re'a is a change in the kala, which is the bride. They say re'a, re'a. Chatan v'kala, re'a v're'a.
What does Re'a mean? Lover.
Lover. So change it from specifics, bride and groom to lover. Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
On page 49 is Tov Lehodot. Tov Lehodot carries on our theme of gratitude, of wholeness, joy, and peace in Shabbat. So on page 49. Tov Lehodot l'Adonai uzamer l'shimcha elyon להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה יאללה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה יאללה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה יאללה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה יאללה, יאללה לה לה לה. טוב להודות לאדוני וזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. Tov lehodot. It's a good thing. On page 57 is our Baruch Hu, which is going to take us into Mariv. Now, there is a one specific person in here who has some very recent history at Ark opening. It was the very first time of Ark opening last Shabbat. And it's you. It's Yolanda. And I think we should reprise the role of Ark Opener this week because you killed it last week. Opener par excellence. So if you would, Yolanda, come on up. But you don't get a Shehechiana this week, though.
No. So we'll ask everyone to rise in body or spirit.
So please rise when the Ark is open. Now's the time. Cue Ark. Ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da.
Ya da da ya da da, ya da da ya da da, ya da da da.
Ya da 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 da. Baruchu et Adonai, HaMevorach, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אדוני, המבורך לעולם ועד. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה. Cue closing arc, left side first. Please be seated. Every week, Yolanda, every week.
That's right.
All right, so then on page 58 is Asher Bidvaro. Asher Bidvaro, it is by God's word, it is by God's word that evenings fall. So we have it in our text here that evenings don't happen without a word, without the word. So we acknowledge the power of the word and of words. The word gives us language, which gives us community, which means we are not alone. So let's read in English on page 58, Asher Bidvaro. Blessed are you, Eternal One, our God, sovereign of all the worlds, by whose word the evenings fall. In wisdom you open heaven's gates. With divine discernment you make seasons change, causing the times to come and go, and ordering the stars on their appointed paths through their heaven's dome, all according to your will. Creator of the day and night, who rolls back light before the dark and dark before the light, who makes day pass away and brings on the night, dividing between day and night. The leader of the throngs of heaven is your name. Living and enduring God, rule over us now and always. Blessed are you, Almighty One, who makes the evenings fall. And the Chatima, the end of, is on page 59. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. על חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב הרבים.
Well, we are at the point of love beyond love beyond love. And Shakespeare knew a thing or two about love. And Alan Sugar knows a thing or two about sonnets. So we are inviting Alan to come up for Sonnet 18, Chai, the sonnet of life and love. Two renditions, I believe, one of the Shakespearean sort and one of the Alan Sugar sort. You decide.
Shakespeare's is better. Okay, Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and fair from fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. That is amazing. Yeah. So I wrote this sonnet as, I suppose it's a parody from a Jewish perspective. And yeah.
Sugar on Shakespeare.
So this is called Shakespeare High, Sonnet 18 Revisited. Should I compare thee to a summer's day? All right, why not? I think it's more than fair. And if I could, I'd also like to say, I think you're just as nice as central air. No one can take the heat as well as you. You don't complain. On that, we all agree. And so, okay, it happens to be true. You've got a better temperament than me. The son of gold can get ungodly hot. With gold you buy, you get a better rate. It's an investment that you've always got and very likely will appreciate. So long as you should live, you won't be poor. You've got your health, and what could matter more?
The Bard.
Yeah. Sorry, William.
That was a wonderful. Oh, Yasher Koach. Cycling it back, cycle back. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Yeah, why not? Why not? I like it. Love beyond love, beyond love, beyond love, beyond love. ... Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed are you, beloved, who loves your people. Amen. Page 65.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. There are two sections that you can choose to read, and we will regather on page 73 in just a few moments. On page 73, Leman Tizkeru. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Any new eyes during the Shema? Any new I words? EYE? or I. Tzitzit for me is one. Because tzitzit are made of so many fringes and pieces of cloth, but we all bring them together into one handful. It reminds me of the Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Out of many, one.
So that's about witnessing. A commentary on page 71. The two letters taken together, the ayin and the dalet, ed means witness. And we should all witness.
Thank you.
Turn to page 81. And just look at this page. I love the words that come over like a canopy of peace. This is the Hashkivenu. And of course, the Merchant of Venice has something to say about this. How sweet the moonlight sleeps upon this bank. Here will we sit and let the sounds of music creep in our ears. Soft stillness and the night become the touches of sweet harmony.
On page 80, join me in reading it together in English. Help us to lie down, dear one, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Decree for us a worthy daily lot, and redeem us for the sake of your great name, and enfold us in the wings of your protection. For you are our redeeming guardian, truly a sovereign, gracious, and compassionate. Life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Blessed are you, compassionate one, who spreads your canopy of peace over all your people, Israel, over Jerusalem, and the whole world. Ufros aleinu.
Page 83, transliteration.
Sukkah.
Second line.
Sukkah Shelomecha Yadadada 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 Yadadada
Page 85. There we are. Yeah. Observing Shabbat. This is the moment, right, where we get to remember that Shabbat is a prayer through the ages. To keep Shabbat for all time. And we remind ourselves over and over again. And so I started experimenting. I'd like to continue doing this. Some of you may have been here while when we started doing this, but I'd like to take the first line and sing it in groups to each other so that we have the experience of passing the Shabbat along the lines. So I'll have half of this group be the group 1, half will be group 2. This will be half of you will be group 3, and the rest will be group 4. It's just the first line. So when you're singing, really honor the words. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledoratam berit olam. Let us keep Shabbat, descendants and all who come in front of us. It's an eternal bond to remember to rest and pause. We'll all do it together one time and then we'll pass it along. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Group 1.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
All together with lots of energy. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. What came? Anything come for you in this prayer? Woo! To keep it and to pass it on.
We pick in our Siddur many ways to say the name of God, and this is the fashioner of all.
The fashioner.
The fashioner of all.
Beautiful.
Bejeweled and bedazzled.
So we'll move into page 91, the Amidah, our central prayer, the prayer just for you. And this is a time to be with what's in your heart, to be with the words on the page, to be with your breath, to be whatever calls to you. I'll invite you to rise in body or spirit. And when you finish, you're welcome to sit down. We'll come back together with some music. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Open my lips, beloved one, and let my mouth declare your praise. Kol demama daka. Kol demama daka. Ana, 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 hashkivula. Kol demama daka. Kol demama daka. Ana, 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 hashkivula. Small, still voice. Let us listen.
So, we've arrived at the talkie time. So, to remind you the question that we posed at the top, let me look back and see what it was.
Does Shabbat serve us,
Does Shabbat serve us?
or do we serve
Or
Shabbat?
do we serve Shabbat? What does that really even mean? But you know what? Go with it. Does Shabbat serve us, or do we serve Shabbat? Well, I'll start us out by saying, as I said at the beginning, it is a commandment, a mitzvah. But we take mitzvah in a couple of different contexts. Mitzvah is a commandment, but it's also a good deed. So there are two layers to a mitzvah. There are many layers to Shabbat.
I've always thought about mitzvahs as an obligation, but also an opportunity to engage with that activity in in your own special way. Like when I ask people to dance at a simcha, it's a mitzvah, but also it's an opportunity to express joy and community.
Kim, did you raise your hand? Or is your... You usually do. Yes.
Rather than being one or the other, I would be asking, how do we serve Shabbat and how does Shabbat serve us?
Yeah.
Let me count. Oh, I'm retired. my latest profession was licensed professional counselor, so I've taken a step towards the more mellow.
So would the council say, what are your thoughts on the question you just posed?
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
Well, we serve Shabbat by finding a way to come together and honor each other and finding community, which is really important for our survival. And Shabbat serves us in that it gives us an opportunity to step back from our busy lives and contemplate the things that are important and real and be in the present moment.
That was a good one.
Elizabeth and Alan.
Yes, following on what Joyce said, if we serve it by creating ritual and boundary and a holy space, then it will also nourish us and serve us.
Alan and then Faith.
Well, it makes me think about how a parent Well, specifically, a mother will serve a meal to a child, and then as the parent and as the child grows older, the child serves the parent.
So there's times where it's more we're serving it, and time it's serving us.
And I often think of, if you serve the Sabbath, it will serve you. And I think of that because we all could be workaholics. We can all put too much effort in, and we don't often take a break. And it was sort of you might say it's a required break. And it is because maybe we might not do it willingly all the time. But then when we do, we reap the benefits.
Kara first. Hold on.
When I hear this, I think of a poem in another siddur that's it says God doesn't need Shabbat. We need Shabbat. It's about need, and God needs us to rejoice. God needs us to look at how are we creating a community that's beautiful? How are we creating a life that celebrates God? And one of the ways that we can celebrate is through submission, allowing ourselves to trust that we're not going to fall, that we will be caught, and that we're not going to, like when you jump, you don't know what's going to happen. And just like God is unknowable, and also all of us, I think of our needs and how we need each other, and God needs us to be okay.
I think rest and community are crucial to our well-being. And in terms of whether we serve Shabbos or it serves us, I sort of think it's the difference between obligation and commitment. I think if we think of it as an obligation, it sounds onerous, but I feel like it's important to commit to community and rest for our own good.
We asked this question to each other. We talked about this because this parsha, it looks before moving on to the next step, it asks us to stop in the wilderness before we leave the wilderness, or the Israelites leave the wilderness, to look back at these 42 stops along the journey. And this is a lot of time that has gone by, and yet they're now entering, it's not like everything is easy and simple. The journey it continues, it starts anew, it's another chapter. And we were talking about like life these days, that we're constantly needing resilience and a way to, even as we finish something, we're still kind of in the next part of the journey. It never actually really ends. And so how do we keep filling? How do we keep supporting ourselves through the ongoing nature of life, especially in these days when it feels even more complicated? So is there anyone that wants to speak to that next level? Like, how does Shabbat serve us? How do we serve Shabbat inside of that?
So a different verb than serve for me is sustain.
Sustain.
And sustenance, which is the same root. And I'm thinking of also the pause of Shabbat is like the pause between an inhalation and an exhalation. And you have to have sort of a pause. And it's so there's some neutral spot where things stop and are still. And I think it's part of nature. And so Shabbat, I think, reconnects us and sustains us in a way that nothing else can feed us. Anyway.
I also find it very interesting that it is a commandment. If we agree, and I've heard many people say this is a way to sustain and to take care of ourselves, it is a commandment from God that, hey, You have to take care of yourself. I wrote it down. It's in the book. I made a whole word for it. It's called rest. So you have to. It's not a choice.
Thank you. Going back to the question, do you serve Shabbat or does Shabbat serve you? That implies that it's either or. I say it's both. And it also implies that you're separate from that. I like to think that it's all one.
So I remember one of my family members talking about Shabbat a number of years ago, just in terms of how many new beginnings are in the Jewish year, not just Rosh Hashanah, but we have 52 new beginnings. So we're ending a week, but we're also starting a week with Shabbat, and so we're able to have a do-over every 7 days, and that's part of, we talk about what you're letting go of in the last week. It's also, what are you going to, we're starting over. So that freshness, that ability is a gift.
And the idea of, we sang earlier, Shir Adonai Shir Chadash, song to God, a new song. And one of the opportunities, I think, is going off of what you said, as we enter Shabbat, this is going to be a time of rest and hopefully of connection and with community or with family or with pets or others. But one of the things that I think is very interesting, maybe as you go home tonight, maybe on Sunday night, Saturday night after Shabbat, the idea of wherever it is you go with and see it, experience it with new eyes. It was one of the reasons why we suggested looking at these prayers that we've seen again and again and again and see some words that might pop out. One of the things that I love doing, I was telling Rebecca, is that when I fly back into Atlanta and drive through downtown, I like to pretend like it's the first time I've ever driven through Atlanta, even though it's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times over the last many, many decades. But it's interesting to see what you see when you fake yourself out as though you're looking through new eyes. And Shabbat it gives us the opportunity to reset and look at our coming week with new eyes.
Rebecca, can I say something real quick?
I wasn't sure. Oh, I don't really want to. Okay. I wasn't certain that I was going to come tonight, but a very loving, persistent person who shall remain nameless, named Val. And I've been out of the loop for a little bit because I couldn't be here. And last Shabbat, I could, and I felt the obligation, and I didn't come. And then tonight, Val, reached back out, and then it was how Shabbat will serve me. And I feel like at different points for me, either are a handhold, commitment, obligation, community, and every time I get something for myself.
Rebecca, it's always better when you hear
me? Can you hear me?
Okay, we'll close with you, Steve.
Okay.
Doesn't our song Ki Ishmerat HaShabbat imply that we keep the Shabbat, but the Shabbat keeps us? And that's one of the operative. I've seen that stated many times, but by keeping it, we are kept, we are preserved.
Yasher koach, everyone.
Thank you.
Yasher koach. We're going to move ourselves on to prayer for healing. So actually, I'll ask you to just call to mind anyone in your own life that is, it might be you, might be someone you know, might be someone you've heard of. Call to mind those people. And I'll just ask you, we'll just kind of say their names collectively and create a web of names in the room.
Zachary Zimmerman.
Jane Goldsmith, Simone Katz, Ilana Katz, Noah Aya Goldsmith. We'll sing together Anna Elna. Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Rifana lo. Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Rifana la. Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Rifana la. Scott Epstein, Ali Sharman, Mark Podhorzer, Roseanne Glick, Patty Johnson, Victoria Isbister, John Isbister, Carl Pruitt, Bowen Harbuck, Anne Levy Sprigg, Jenny Michelson, Ruth Confer, Nell Mayer, Dory Perling, Nancy Rosenblum, Maria Risotto, Sharon Bronstein, Melissa Sachs, Rabbi Zev Chaim Fayer, Rich Tel Johan, Randy Foster, Ava Kotliar, Susan Birch, Sarah K. Black, Terry Egdahl, Hannah Gelbart. And if there's anyone on Zoom, please put your names in the chat for us. Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Rifana la. I'd like to ask if anyone is called to come up to lead us in the prayer for the end of hiding.
I'm going to go grab the sheet.
I have it right here. Yes, Emily. Yeah, come on up. You should have it in your Sidurim. There's also some sheets in the back.
As LGBTQ Jews, we are aware of the loss of integrity we suffer due to pressures of the larger society. We often feel forced into a dishonest presentation of ourselves to ourselves and others. The LGBTQ individuals who feel they must pretend to be something that they are not. The Jews who feel they must be alienated from their tradition and community to win larger acceptance. Both are victims of a theft of identity and integrity committed by the sexual, gender-identifying, or religious majority. Creator of the universe, we ask that our hiding draw to an end, that we no longer feel we have to pretend, to promise falsely, to renounce ourselves, and that our fullest creative expression as Jews, as lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, and queer people be among the blessings you bestow upon us. Amen.
We'll continue on page 121 with the Aleinu, if you will rise in body or spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת תהילה ליוצא בראשית, שנתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
On page 125. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. We'll turn to page 131, the Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom. I'll invite anyone who is observing a yortzeit, is in a period of mourning, to rise. And if you're comfortable and you wish to share names, please do.
Can I share a teeny bit? This is the first time I'm not saying Kaddish for my father. 11 months has passed. And
Okay.
but it's also the yortzeit of a dear friend, Mary Jo.
Okay, so we honor the end of the Kaddish for your father, and we recognize the yortzeit of your friend. Thank you.
My mom, Deborah Johnson Grossman, 2 months ago.
Michael Katz. Join on page 131. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'avma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach leolam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May their memories be for a blessing. Amen. Be seated. And I didn't give a chance if there was anyone online who was observing a yortzeit. If you'd like to unmute, we can hear their names.
Rebecca, can I say something?
Sounds like Susan Birch.
It's
Hi,
not
Susan.
about a name, but I wanted to say this earlier about Shabbat. I wanted to say that I never really was into Shabbat as much, but when COVID hit, I became more religious in a different way. And it just really has helped me a lot to just know more about what Judaism is. And it's really helped me a lot to know how much Judaism means to us, mean a lot to me being Jewish and services and doing participating now. So I just wanted to add that.
Thanks, Susan. We're so glad to hear you. We can't see you, so you sort of sound like the voice of God right now. Just saying. Is there anyone else who's observing a yahrzeit?
Thanks.
Emily? Thank you so much, Susan. And we hope you're continuing your healing right now. Anyone else for a yahrzeit? Okay, thanks. Do we have someone to read announcements? Ah, amazing. Let's welcome up Val Singer.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry I was late. But Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Congregation Bet Havarim, both those of you here in person and those of you speaking in the ether from Zoom. My name is Val, and I am a board member at large. And first, I want to thank our greeter, Nancy Kreisman. I want to thank our Zoom host and on-site staff member, Emily Anzalone. Sorry, say it again. Anzalone. I need to learn that. Sorry. And thank you to our service leaders, Rebecca Goldsmith and Brad Daviddorf, and Shakespeare. And thank you to today's police officer on duty, Lieutenant Jason Sawyer. Thank you to tonight's ONEG sponsor, the membership overall of CBH. We want to send a special thank you to all of our members and your generous contributions. So join us here for these upcoming events. This hopefully is not news to any of you. Later this summer on the 17th, we will celebrate the Trailblazers with a fundraising party to honor CBH's earliest members. Think about what they accomplished. As revolutionaries, they were courageous, committed, and color coordinated. So come to the party. And you don't have to be color coordinated to come, but maybe. You can register on the CBH website. It says starting next week, but I think registration's already open. It's been open, yeah. There's also a QR code on the poster in the lobby about the event. So the CBH board will meet this Tuesday, August 6th at 5:45 on Zoom. You're all welcome. We will have a Shabbat service on Friday the 9th at 7:30, celebrating our community's recent graduates. I believe particularly the high school graduates, yes? So please plan on attending. And one college, yes. All right, well, graduates all. So on Saturday, August 10th, we have the B'nai Mitzvah of Aiden Seaman at 9 a.m. here at CBH. So we always have a lot going on. Please check out the website and Bet Mail for more information. Have a really wonderful week, and I hope you get to start new things anew. So good things.
Thank you. Thanks, Val. Yeah?
Next week, you'll get an email about the Yisker book. We're starting to take contributions, and we take it so seriously. So please send in the names of your loved ones as soon as you can. This isn't about the $18. This is about how special they are to our community and how much we want their names to be said. So make sure, get them in as soon as possible. If you don't, I will call you on the phone, as you remember from last year. So to avoid my phone call, get them in soon.
In regard to our fundraiser and celebrating the Trailblazers, who without them, we would not all be here right now. So, oh, thanks. And there'll be an email coming out Monday. If you haven't donated or gotten your tickets, we have premiums, very special little bonuses for people who donate at multiple different levels. So keep an eye out for that because there's some fabulous premiums coming. That's it.
Green stamps, fabulous green stamps. No, premiums. So we started with Shakespeare. We've gone through the night with Shakespeare, and we are going to end our evening with a Shakespearean thespian, our very own Emily Anzalone, to end with an official soliloquy from Midsummer Night's Dream. Give it up for Emily.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. If we but shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended. That you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I, an honest puck, if we have unearned luck, now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all, and give me your hand if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.
Thank you. Yasher Koach. And let's end with a little bit of a chant, shalom, together. Bring in the sound of wholeness and balance and welcome and peace together. Shalom. 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 Shalom.
On page, right before we say Kiddush.
And we can start to get the challah and the kiddush. Is Emily?
Yeah, I think
Great,
Emily just went to
perfect.
get it.
Great.
So there are two things, and we're running CBH on time, which is long, and so on page 116, Elizabeth actually pointed out this poem to me, and it's my favorite in all of our Siddur. So on page 116, this is sort of this kind of distills what a lot of what we were talking about tonight. And so the words are these: the commandment to bless this wine, which is about to make its way around, is to drink life as deeply as we drink from this cup. It's a commandment to bless life and to love deeply. It's a commandment to remember with Shabbat heart, to act with Shabbat hands, to see the world with Shabbat eyes. It's a commandment to laugh until we are all laughter, to sing until we are all song, to dance until we are all dance, to love until we are all love. This is the wine that God has commanded us to drink and to bless. Do it?
Yeah, while it's being passed out, Brad's going to give us a song that we can join in on.
So when
Grab your wine.
When we were looking at this reading, it just reminded me of this song. And let me put the words right here so I can see them. This is by Guy Clark. When I was a young man, my daddy told me a lesson he learned was a long time ago. If you want to have someone to hold on to, you're going to have to learn to let go. You got to sing.
Sing.
Like you don't need the money and love.
Love.
Like you'll never get hurt. You got to dance.
Dance.
Like nobody's watching. It's got to come from the heart if you want it to work. Now here is the one thing I keep forgetting when everything is falling apart. In life as in love, you know I need to remember there's such a thing as trying too hard. You got to sing.
Sing.
Like you don't need the money and love.
Love.
Like you'll never get hurt. You got to dance.
Dance.
Like nobody's watching. It's It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. You got to sing sometimes. Like
We're
you
gonna do it
don't need
anyway,
the
even though he's
money and love sometimes.
Love.
Like you'll never get hurt. You got to dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching. It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. All right, you guys join me in this. You got to sing.
Sing.
Like you don't need the money and love.
Love.
Like you'll never get hurt. You got to dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching. It's gotta come from the heart if you want it to work. It's got to come from the heart if you want it to
work. Yeah. All right. Join us. Stand in body your spirit. Come on up. Close. Do we have our? Oh, we do. Okay. Here's a glass for you. Savri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam haborei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu בשבת קדשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי אלינו קראת ואותנו קידשת לעבודתך ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת
Amen. Now, our bread this week is not challah; it is a baguette. I know. We're being very alternative. So instead of having woven challah and bread, we're going to weave our hands on our arms. So find someone you can weave with. Weave away. A weave away, 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 weave away, a 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 weave away. Rick, will you please do us the honor?
Baruch atah.
Sleeps tonight, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the challah sleeps tonight. Oh, ooh. Ooh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. We couldn't find any at the store. It was already sold out, the challah. Good night, everyone on Zoom. Shabbat shalom.
Y'all waited too long. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.